Have you ever wondered how the most powerful empire in history simply disappeared? Think about it. Imagine waking up one morning and hearing that the United States or China or every major government you know had simply collapsed. Sounds impossible, right? That's exactly what happened to ancient Rome. An empire so powerful that its enemies believed it was chosen by the gods. An empire that conquered millions of people, built roads across continents, created laws that still influence our world today, and possessed an army so feared that entire kingdoms surrendered before a single battle. And yet, one day, it all came crashing down. Here's the weird part. Rome wasn't destroyed by one great army. It wasn't wiped out by one epic battle. In fact, historians have argued about its downfall for centuries. So what actually happened? How does the most powerful empire on earth just stop being an empire? The story begins almost 200 years before Rome finally fell, at the height of its power. The year is 117 AD. The Roman Empire stretches across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Its territory is so enormous that a messenger on horseback could spend months crossing it. The Mediterranean Sea has become what Romans proudly call our sea. Gold pours into the empire. Ships arrive every day carrying spices, silk, grain, and treasures from lands most Romans will never see. The cities are crowded. The markets are busy. The arenas are packed, and everyone believes Rome will last forever. But there's a problem. Empires don't usually die from weakness. They die from success. Rome has become too big, too rich, too comfortable. Its borders stretch thousands of miles. Soldiers stand guard in freezing forests, scorching deserts, and dangerous mountain passes. The further Rome expands, the more enemies it creates, and the more money it costs to protect what it already owns. But nobody notices, because life in the capital is incredible. The wealthy throw extravagant feasts, politicians compete for power, gladiators fight for entertainment, and the emperors promise the people what they want most: free food, free games, free distractions. As long as the crowds are happy, nobody asks difficult questions. Nobody asks why taxes keep rising. Nobody asks why the army keeps demanding more recruits. Nobody asks why corruption is spreading through every level of government. Rome isn't preparing for the future, it's pretending the future doesn't exist. Then everything changes. In 180 AD, Emperor Marcus Aurelius dies. He had spent years fighting to protect the empire. He was respected, disciplined, brilliant. Many historians would later call him one of Rome's greatest rulers. But he makes one decision that could cost Rome everything. Instead of choosing the most capable leader, he gives the throne to his son, Commodus. And Commodus? Let's just say he wasn't exactly emperor material. He loved putting on gladiator armor and fighting in the arena while the empire's problems piled up around him. Meanwhile, the empire begins to crack. Assassinations become common. Emperors are overthrown. Generals turn against each other. The army discovers a dangerous truth. They don't have to obey the emperor. They can simply make their own. Soon, the throne of Rome becomes the most dangerous seat on earth. One emperor rules for a few years, another for a few months. Some don't survive a single year. Civil wars erupt. Entire armies march against fellow Romans instead of foreign enemies, and every battle weakens the empire further. Rome's enemies are watching. Germanic tribes gather beyond the borders. Persian armies grow stronger in the east. Pirates attack trade routes. The money starts running out. The government responds the only way it knows how: print more coins. There's just one problem. The new coins contain less silver. People notice, prices explode. A loaf of bread becomes more expensive. Farmers struggle. Merchants refuse Roman money. Inflation increased. The rich become richer. The poor become desperate. Then the disasters begin to pile up. Plagues sweep through the cities. Thousands die, and while ordinary Romans suffer, politicians continue fighting for power. It's as if the ship is sinking and the crew is arguing over who gets the captain's chair. Then comes a decision that changes history forever. The empire is simply too large to control, so Roman leaders divide it into two halves: the Eastern Roman Empire and the Western Roman Empire. At first, it seems like a smart idea. The East becomes richer, more stable, more protected. But the West is left exposed and waiting beyond its borders. Our people who have heard stories about Rome's incredible wealth. Then came the Visigoths, the Vandals, the Huns, and a warrior named Attila, whose reputation terrified all of Europe. Rome had survived rebellions, civil wars, and economic disasters. But this time, it faced an enemy unlike any before. The question was no longer whether Rome could survive. It was whether the greatest empire on earth had already become too weak to save itself.